Hi everyone, my name is Jeff Lockwood. My case is Jones versus Halliburton, and if I look away, it's just to remind me of the facts of the case. But basically, in 2007, Jamie Lee Jones signs a contract with KBR Construction. In the terms of the contract, it states that any and all grievance that you might have against your employer regarding your employment relative to your employment must be submitted through arbitration and not the legal system. So she was placed in an all-male barracks, and she allegedly made reports of harassment from the very beginning. One night, Jamie goes to a employee party, and there is alcohol involved, and she claims that she was drugged, beaten, and also gang raped in her bedroom that night. She claims that when she made these allegations to her supervisor, she was locked in a trailer with armed guards, and that KBR also tampered with a rape kit that was given to her. She tried to sue, however, Halliburton maintained that on the terms of her contract, it had to go through arbitration because that was relative to the scope of her employment. It went on to a district court in which they decided that there were 4 charges that were not relative to the scope of her employment, and those were intentional infliction of emotional distress, false imprisonment, assault and battery, and also negligence on the part of Halliburton. So the next question is, what options was the employee given by the employer? And in her words, she says, it was made clear to me that I either needed to get over it or basically go home and risk, not being able to get a job in Houston or Afghanistan. So was there any criminal investigation? And yes, there was. The case went to trial in 2011 with Jones's attorneys arguing that Halliburton knew that this was a hostile environment for her and chose to ignore it because of the expenses involved in replacing personnel. And Halliburton's lawyers claimed that she was basically totally fabricating the story to get out of her contract and get her 15 minutes of fame. And it's important to note also at this point that the case did go to a criminal trial, like I said, and the ruling ended up being on the side of Halliburton, that there was no sufficient evidence to, support that she was raped, and she ended up fabricating the whole story. So the fourth question is, the employee was told that she would have to arbitrate her case, yet arbitration is not used for criminal matters. So how do you think the employer justifies telling her that her only option is arbitration? I think at the time this was kind of a gray area. I think that employers kind of told their employees, oh, we don't have jurisdiction. The U.S. government does not have jurisdiction in that area, and crimes that happen in that area have to be tried in that area. So it was a lot of red tape and bureaucracy. But as we can see with the Blackwater case, this is not true. As a general rule, crimes committed by civilian employees on foreign soil are tried in U.S. federal court, and civil disputes are settled through arbitration. The fifth question, typically arbitration is private and no one is able to see the award. How could this be dangerous for employees? Being that the awards for private employers would be private. This is dangerous because it creates the problem that there's no precedent for an arbitrator to look back on, similar cases. So it really leaves a lot of discretion up to the arbitrator in deciding the matter. And so, sixth question, do you think the employer is a private employer, or do you think it is a subcontractor that is sufficiently entwined in the U.S. government? And no constitutional claims were ever brought against, brought up in this case, and honestly, I'm not sure why. It said something, KBR employs more American private contractors and holds the largest contract with the U.S. government in 2007, so I'm not sure why these issues weren't raised then.